Hey, welcome to our JavaScript 5 mini projects from scratch. These are all going to be unique projects that you can do in order to practice and learn more about JavaScript. My name is Lawrence. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I come to you with many years of web development experience, and I'm ready to help you learn more about JavaScript. So the first project that we're going to be working on is Lorem Ipsum Generator. And what this project is, it's going to be a mini application that you can select the parameters and generate some Lorem Ipsum content from a source file. So it's a great way to practice JavaScript in order and as well to create a nice practical application that you can make use of within your web development. So we're going to be looking at DOM interaction, DOM manipulation of element manipulation, also adding in event listeners onto the page, using string methods such as transforming to uppercase, using conditions and loops in order to produce some functionality and generate certain amount of content depending on what the parameters are that the user input. The JavaScript math method, which is going to allow us to provide some randomization and generate unique bits of content that could be presented on the page. So along with document and DOM element manipulation, we're going to be creating elements, appending elements, and also using the query selector in order to select elements from the page. The second project is going to be a pagination using JSON data. So we're going to load multiple pages onto the screen and allow the user to click through the pages and make additional AJAX requests to pull back data in order to display on the screen. So simulating how you can use this within real data that you can present a whole bunch of data on the page up into nice separates of content. And in this project, we are going to be focused on fetch. So using the JavaScript fetch method in order to make a request to the server endpoint with the data, returning back JSON data, making use of that data within the project. So manipulation of the elements, selecting the elements, creating new elements on the fly, and also creating interactive elements. And then after that, coming up is going to be a JavaScript image carousel slider. So this is a typical component that's used on a lot of different types of websites where you've got an image that will rotate and also allowing the user to have some indicators to go to the next image, go to the previous image, and also select from all of the images that have been loaded within the carousel. This is going to be a fully dynamic carousel component. DOM manipulation, so selecting the document object, creating elements on the fly, selecting elements from the page, updating the content within the elements, updating style properties of those elements, creating some interactive and dynamic content, all from data. Next up is going to be a list project, so a list building project. And the unique thing about this list is that you can download the list as a text file directly to your computer. And also we're going to be making use of local storage to store the list data so that even if you refresh the page, the data is still going to be there. We're selecting elements, creating elements on the fly, also creating the interactions, so adding event listeners to the elements. Each one of the items on the list can be crossed off and it can also be deleted from the list. And then there's also an option to add new items into the list. And project number 5 is going to be a JavaScript dynamic timeline. So we're going to have indicators at the top where you can select a time or an event from the timeline, and then that's going to be displayed on the main display area within the application. The timeline can slide over various dates from the timeline. So this is also going to be a unique project and a really interesting component, which is going to allow us to practice quite a lot of really new functionality with JavaScript, specifically focused on DOM element selection, element manipulation, updating style properties and values, and adding styling and using JavaScript to create interactive and dynamic content. All of the source code is included, and one of the best ways to learn is to try the project, update, and try the code out for yourself. Update the code and then extend on the project in order to customize it and really get a good feel for what the code is doing. So source code is included, so try it out for yourself. If you have any questions or comments, I'm always happy to hear from you. And the sections of this course can be taken independently, so they don't have to be taken consecutively. You can start at any one of the projects. You can take them at any order that you please. So selecting the project that's best suited for your needs or whatever project that you want to start with, you can select the projects and start with any section So let's get started coding and creating some projects from scratch using JavaScript.